بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We are still studying Al-Qawa'id Al-Fiqhiyyah, and we gave a prolonged introduction to this beautiful science. And as a reminder, what is Al-Qawa'id Al-Fiqhiyyah? It has been defined as a holistic rule that is based upon the Sharia evidence from the Quran and from the Sunnah, which is precisely formulated in a manner that makes it applicable to all its subparts, or at least the majority of it. Now, as mentioned before, these formulas, these rules are man-made, generally speaking, which means that by themselves, they're not an evidence. So if we have a dispute, you would not say, Quran says so-and-so, Sunnah says so-and-so, and then I will say, yes, but the ruling of fiqh says so-and-so. This is not an evidence by itself. It is dependent on evidence from Quran and Sunnah and elsewhere. But it is not an evidence that is sufficient to stand in front of Quran and Sunnah. And where do these rules come from? There are three ways that we can obtain these rules from. One, you take it straight from the Nas. And in Arabic, a Nas is usually referring to Quran and Sunnah, the evidence. So, for example, we have the major 5 fiqh rules. On top of the list is this following rule: Al-umur bimaqasidiha. That actions, deeds, whatever you do or say, anything that is done, it is dependent on the intention. Now this is a fiqh rule. It's a legal maxim that you can apply. Where is it taken from? From the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Verily, deeds are dependent on their intention. So this is undisputable. All schools of thought, all scholars, they agree upon it. Why? Because it's from the Quran and from the Sunnah. No one can say, yeah, but I think. No, you don't think. With Quran and Sunnah, you don't think. You apply. The second source for these fiqh rules is the consensus of scholars. There isn't any rule from the Quran or from the Sunnah that states this, but we can take it from the consensus, because when the scholars agree on something and no one disagrees with them, is it binding or not? It is binding for sure. That is why Allah Azza wa Jal says that whoever goes against the Prophet ﷺ after he had seen the truth and follows other than the path of the believers, then Allah Azza wa Jal would take him to hell. وَمَن يُشَاقِقِ الرَّسُولَ مِن بَعْدِ مَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ الْهُدَى وَيَتَّبِعْ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Which means that the consensus of the believers, the path of the believers, is an evidence by itself that you must follow as long as it falls under the Quran and Sunnah. So, one of the sources for fiqh rules is the consensus of scholars. For example, the scholars all agree that you cannot make ijtihad with Quran or Sunnah. If someone says there is something from the Quran and Sunnah, but I'd like to improvise, I'd like to make my own analogy and ijtihad and go against that, this is inapplicable. All scholars say that this is rejected. It's not possible. Another evidence, for example, a rule, but this is not a fiqh rule, This can be called as a dabit, a controller, because a controller is like a fiqh rule, except that it is only limited in a chapter of knowledge. Unlike the fiqh rule, it is in all fiqh. Dabit al-fiqhi is on a specific subject. In tahara, for example, or only in salah. So when we talk about the rule pertaining to prostration, this is dabit, not fiqhi rule. Why? Because we talk about prostration of forgetfulness, of gratitude, of recitation of the Quran, but only in prostration. So it's limited. While the fiqhi rule talks about in all chapters of fiqh. So for example, there is a dabit that states that the water is pure unless one of its three characteristics change with a najasa: smell, taste, or color. Now, is there a hadith backing this up? No. Is there an ayah of the Quran backing this up? No. But the consensus of the scholars on this rule, and that is why it is one of the sources we learn this rule from. So first of all, Quran and Sunnah, or consensus of scholars, or if there isn't any of the previous two, there is a third way of getting these fiqh rules, and this is by reading. What do you mean by reading? It's by going through all the books of fiqh and coming to a conclusion and putting a rule. And such an example, one of the 5 major rules is hardship brings ease. This is a rule. Al-mashaqqatu tajlibu at-taysir. In Islam, whenever it is so hard, Allah Azza wa Jal makes things easy. Is there anything in the Quran or Sunnah on this specific? No, there are general cases that you go through, you learn, and you come with this conclusion. Therefore, we learn from this that these fiqh rules have 3 sources for us to learn them from. Are they limited? No. The sky is the limit. Tomorrow you may come and say, I have a new fiqh rule. X, Y, Z. No problem. But we have to verify it. We have to look into the Quran, into the Sunnah, into the books of fiqh to see if it's consistent, if there are no loopholes here or there. After we verify that, we said, MashaAllah, you're very good. You gave us a new fiqh rule. We take it. No problem. So you have to understand, these fiqh rules are not evidence by themselves. They are made to make knowledge easy for you. It's like an abbreviation, a very long word. ASAP, what does it stand for? As soon as possible. Fiqh rule. No, it's not fiqh rule, it's linguistic. But at least the man who brought it, he's done us good, because every time I have to write this, the time is over. But when I write ASAP, I understand. Likewise, in fiqh rules, the scholar brought this rule so that it makes the knowledge easy for you. While sitting, your father, your mother tells you, what's the ruling on this? I don't know. Let me think. Fiqh rule number 15, for example. It says so and so and so. Yes, we can apply this to this. Yeah, this similar. It is halal, it's haram. It gives you the knowledge in a very easy way to do. Now, how many are there of the fiqh rules? They're countless. Scholars differed in making them and producing them, but the majority agreed that there are 5 major rules, and they are called Al-Qawa'id Al-Fiqhiyyah Al-Kubra. And there are minor ones, and there are so many, because each one of the big or the major fiqh rules, they have sub-rules under them. So you can have 5, 10, 15, 20, and also from other rules, you have other minor rules. And there are specific rules on a particular issue. So there are 3, major, minor, and specific on other issues that the scholars say there are. Now, we would like to move on to the real thing, and that is studying the fiqh rules. And the first and the most important fiqh rule is the one that we have mentioned a while ago, al-umur bimaqasidiha. How many words? Two. Al-umur bimaqasidiha. And if you go to the university and you find that you're studying for the first semester, this rule is only 2 words? Wow, this is easy. I'm going to get A+. But then when you see that there are like 6 or 7 volumes you have to read just to explain these 2 words, then you know how strong and beautiful Arabic is. People think that Arabic is any other language. No, Allah did not choose the Quran to be in Arabic except because Arabic is the most perfect language. How it's easily learned by the people who want to learn it. And the words have strong and deep meanings in it. So we have these 2 words, al-umur bimaqasidiha. The evidence, where did we get this from? The hadith of Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him. He said that the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى. That verily deeds are judged by their intentions. And every individual, he will be held accountable depending on his intention. So the scholars brought up this rule, al-umur bimaqasidiha. But why didn't they use the same hadith? Why didn't they say al-a'mal bin niyat? Also 2 words would have been sufficient as well. Why? This is what we'll find inshallah after the break, so stay tuned.
Where truth is hidden, misleading quotations create confusion. Where truth is hidden, lack of knowledge and wisdom cause upheaval and commotion. Where truth is hidden, manipulated scriptures and twisted facts emerge. This very hidden truth creates false propaganda, mayhem, chaos, disorder, and turmoil in our lives and the world order. But is there anyone with courage and wisdom? What is the truth? And who has the courage to expose it? Because it's your right to know the truth.
Watch truth prevail and lies perish in Truth Exposed by Dr. Zakir Naik. Next on Peace TV.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. So, why did the scholars not use the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, al-a'mal bin niyat? Well, some of the scholars did. And some of the scholars said, no, I will not choose any other than the word of the Prophet ﷺ. But the majority of jurors wanted to make it a little bit more. Because when you say al-a'mal, meaning that deeds, while al-umur mean that things. So things are far general than al-a'mal, because al-a'mal might be things that would lead you to Allah Azza wa Jal, forms of worship, while al-umur includes this and worldly things. So al-a'mal bin niyat can sometimes refer to prayers, fasting, forms of worship, while al-umur, this can be rhetoric, this can be by actions, this can be by the heart, this can be forms of worship, this can also be transactions like contracts. So this word is more serving to the jurors than the previous one. Al-umur bimaqasidiha, which means that all what you do depends on your intention. So as an individual, you have to segregate between the things you do. And this can only be done by the intention. So we need intention to segregate between what is a form of worship and what is not. Someone plays football. He goes to the house and he enters the bathroom and he takes a shower and he comes out. And someone who was in a state of janaba goes to the adjacent bathroom and takes a shower and comes out. Both actions are the same, but the intention is different. So the one who made ghusl out of janaba, out of sexual impurity, can pray without making wudu. The first one who had ghusl, because he was dirty, he was sweaty, he was cleaning himself, cannot make salah because he did not perform wudu. So the actions are the same. The intention differs and it also makes things different. And also we use the intention to differentiate between forms of worship themselves. So there is obligatory and there is voluntary. What are you praying? If someone goes to the masjid or in his home, he doesn't live near a masjid, and he says Allahu Akbar and he prays 2 rak'ah. After he finishes, or while he's in prayer, what am I praying? Fajr? No, I have to pray sunnah. Okay, I'll change my intention. He said, no, this is not possible. Or he prays 2 rak'ahs and he says, this is for the sunnah and for the fard as well. Make it easier for me. I don't want to pray 2 and 2. No, I pray 2 with 2 intentions. No, this is not applicable. So you differentiate between fard and nafil or voluntary. You differentiate between fard and fard. Someone goes to the masjid, Asr time, says Allahu Akbar, and after reciting the Fatiha, he says, I intended to pray Dhuhr. You enter the prayer with the intention of Dhuhr, but you have already prayed Dhuhr. And this is the time of Asr. You cannot play with the intention. So it is needed to differentiate between forms of worship themselves. Any questions? Yes.
Sheikh, as you mentioned about the salah, the person is offering the salah and it is already time for Asr. So in the same case, if a person has missed out his Zuhr, for example, he was sleeping or out of forgetfulness, but he starts with his Zuhr prayer. But then he remembers the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that pray what you are in time for. So it's better to pray the Asr Salah rather than the Zuhr in the time of Asr. So if he changes the intention during the Salah, that I am offering Asr first, then I'll offer Zuhr. Is it applicable?
Okay, you understand the question. The answer is neither Dhuhr nor Asr is applicable. The minute you change your niyyah, your intention in the Salah, to something similar or higher, your Salah becomes voluntary, not valid for what you intended. Meaning, I am in the masjid. I am praying Tahiyyatul Masjid, 2 rak'ahs, and someone comes and taps me on the shoulders, telling me that he's going to pray with me. And he says, Allahu Akbar. And then I said, oh, this guy wants to pray Dhuhr. He missed Dhuhr and he wants to pray Dhuhr. Or I did not pray Fajr and he did not pray Fajr, so he's praying Fajr with me. But I'm intending Tahiyyat al-Masjid, the greeting of the Masjid. So I said, okay, I will change my intention. His prayer is okay because he doesn't know about my intention. My prayer is not valid for Fajr. I have to pray original Fajr. Because this is from down, up. If it was the opposite, it's okay. Someone came to Dhuhr prayer, it was already finished. Looked for someone to pray with him, he could not find. So he said, Allahu Akbar, and started Dhuhr. After a few minutes, a group came, and now they're establishing Dhuhr. So he said, okay, I'm going to change from Dhuhr into Sunnah, so that I finish and go pray with the Jama'ah. Applicable? Yes, because this is from top to bottom. Now, someone who missed Dhuhr and went to the masjid and wanted to pray Dhuhr, and in the Salah he changed his intention to Asr, or the opposite. He's gone to the masjid, the Imam is praying Asr, he says Allahu Akbar, and then he realizes that, oh, I didn't pray Dhuhr. Okay, this is Dhuhr. Khalas. Both cases are not applicable. What to do? First of all, you have to know a number of things. One, the order is important in prayers. You cannot pray Asr, then pray Dhuhr, then pray Isha, then pray Maghrib. You have to have it in order. And this order does not fall You're not exempted from it, except if you're ignorant, someone doesn't know. He went into the masjid, they're praying Asr, he prayed Allahu Akbar with the intention of Asr. After he finished, he started to pray Dhuhr. I grabbed him, what are you doing? He said, I didn't pray Dhuhr. I said, you're wrong, you should have prayed Dhuhr, then Asr. Meaning you should join the Imam with the intention of Dhuhr. And when the Salah is finished, you pray your Asr so that you can keep the congregation and keep the order at the same time. He said, I didn't know. He said, Ma'alish, khas, go. May Allah forgive you. So if you're ignorant, or if the time is not possible except to perform one prayer. Someone who overslept Dhuhr, did not pray Dhuhr. Woke up only 5 minutes before sunset. So neither Dhuhr nor Asr. Now what should he do? He can only pray one prayer. If I tell him the order is important, pray Dhuhr first, and he prays Dhuhr and the sun sets, this means that he missed how many fard? 2. Dhuhr and Asr both were prayed out of their time. So I tell him, no, because you have an emergency, pray Asr now, on time. And after you finish, sun sets, pray Dhuhr, because both ways it is qada. So this, inshallah, clears it, wallah? Okay. Now, do I say the niyyah in any form of worship in Islam? Yes or no? I say it verbally? Okay, mashallah, you are all against the sunnah. You do not say the niyyah verbally, meaning, nawaitu an usalli dhuhr 4 rak'at at 1:30 behind the imam. What's his name? His ID number is so-and-so. He drives a Corolla Toyota. And we are in the masjid so in the neighbor. What are you doing? Some brothers, when they come to pray, they say like this. And they repeat, nawaitu an usalli, I intend to pray. What are you doing? I'm saying the niyyah. This is haram. This is an innovation. This is not part of the sunnah. The niyyah is in the heart. Do you know what you want to do? Said, yes, I'm going to pray dhuhr. Khalas. Say Allahu Akbar, and that is enough. When you want to go to the toilet, before you enter, you say, I intend to enter the toilet to do 101 or 102, and I'll stay there only for like 3 minutes and a half. Nobody does this. Are you crazy? When they put the biryani in front of you, say, Bismillah, I intend to eat biryani with chicken and spices. No. Intention is in the heart. When you fast, when you pray, when you give zakat, you don't say, I intend to do this. Because one of two. Either you're crazy. Why? Because I'm telling myself, I don't know what I intend. I have to say it. So, Asim, what are you doing? I want to intend to pray. No, this is crazy. Or you're telling Allah Azza wa Jal as if Allah doesn't know. And this is even worse than being crazy. So the intention is not to be said. Some people say, okay, if we don't say the intention verbally, why do we say labbaik Allahumma umrah, labbaik Allahumma hajj? They say, this is intention. The answer is, this is not intention. This is simply talbiyah, in a form of dhikr. And that is why now I have said it once and I'm saying it again. Labbaik Allahumma umrah. Does this mean I have to go and make umrah now? No, this is verbally. If I put my ihram and I intend with my heart that I am in the state of ihram without saying labbaik Allahumma umrah, my ihram is valid and I am going for umrah and it's accepted. So it is very important to know the difference between the niyyah, the actual niyyah, and saying it. There is nothing in Islam that supports saying it at all, and this is the opinion of the majority of scholars of Islam. There are a number of issues related to this fiqhi rule. What is the fiqhi rule? Al-umuru bimaqasidiha. Should we remember it in Arabic or in English? The answer is in Arabic. Learn as a student of knowledge that everything you study, you relate it to Arabic. This enhances your ability to learn Arabic quicker, and at the same time, it relates things together. Because you cannot become a good student of knowledge only by knowing English. You have to relate it to the Quran, to the Sunnah, and to the Arabic language. Call it a wrap, and until we meet next time, fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
ah,